Hi, I'm Larry Krystowski. I farm up in Avon, Ohio, up on central Ohio, right along the shore of Lake Erie. We have a very heavy ground, and I had an enormous amount of rain this spring. We had 13 inches of rain in June and July. We had 7 inches of rain in late May, or in May, I should say. And so I sneaked my corn. I got my corn planted in between a narrow window, and it was coming out of the ground, and it was very stressed. I'm not a big farmer. I only have 125 acres of corn, but that 125 acres is very important to me. And the corn just didn't look good because of all the wet feet that it's had. I was contacted by a man that a lot of you know, Bill Haddad from the Valent Chemical Company, No-Till Bill they call him, who's been one of the founders of no-till in America. And he has a new product that was originally designed for a growth stimulant for grass, and now it has a label for corn. And he suggested that I try it because he knows what kind of conditions I have, and he knows the weather problems we've had. And Bill's a good friend of mine, and so I was more than happy to do it. I'll try anything. So the way it works, the growth stimulant, you spray it on with your sprayer, broadcast sprayer. Very important that it gets applied at the V3 through V5 stage, which for my distressed corn this year was June 4th, 5th, right in that area. I used my sprayer, 60-foot wide boom, with the standard tips that I've sprayed everything else with, which put on 13.3 gallon per acre at 70 pounds pressure. And I drove through 125 acres of corn, spraying it on at that time. It was an extra trip for me, which I didn't like, but it sure paid off. In the future, I will definitely keep using it, but in the future I'll change my herbicide program to where I need to put herbicide on with that same trip. RyzUp will work with herbicide as well as without. So anyways, a week after spraying my corn, the strips that I sprayed versus the checks that I did not spray, there was a noticeable difference in the health of the plant, the color of the plant, the level of distress, if you will, of the plant. The RyzUp sprayed plants were greener, a little bit taller, and starting to get healthier, snapping out of the bad spring weather. July 4th, 5th, right after the 4th of July, 5th, 6th, something like that, Bill Haddad came, and we spent an afternoon digging up roots, noticing at that time it was night and day. I did not have to tell myself or tell Bill which rows we had sprayed the RyzUp on and which rows we didn't, because it was noticeable in the field. You could walk up and tell immediately. Much girthier stalk, about a ½ inch wider leaves, taller plant, 6-8 inches taller, and about twice the root mass. When you would dig it up, carefully dig it up, and then use a garden hose to spray the water off the roots carefully, you would end up with at least twice the roots, maybe even more than that, with the RyzUp plants. So they snapped out of the problems we had in the spring very well. Then came fall harvest. Before harvest, I noticed a huge number, better than I've ever had, of double ears on the plants. Nice, big, long, healthy ears, not one good ear and then a small ear. 2 very healthy ears per plant. When you've got 2 healthy ears going at 38,000 seeds per acre, that's pretty good. So we did yield checks. We did 3 different checks one afternoon, and I went to one of our fields that had the most stress, poorly drained, rented ground, of course, so I can't tile it. And the worst corn was 119 bushel per acre, if I remember right. Very stressed, sickly looking ears, etc. And then the row right next to it that had the RyzUp on, actually 2 rows away from it, that had the RyzUp on, in case of drift and stuff, we didn't want we wanted to make sure we had pure RyzUp row, was 170 bushel or something. There was like a 50 bushel difference, roughly a 50 bushel difference. That was shocking to me. You could see the difference in the plants and the difference in the ears, but I didn't think it was that much. So then we went to check number 2, same field, distressed field, but a much better area of the field. The difference there wasn't as much. It was like 179 versus 196. So it was 20 bushel per row difference. but that's where the ground was better, where I didn't have as much water. So it shows me there that RyzUp works very well for stressed plants, for stressed crops, okay? Check number 3 was back to some worse conditions, more stress, same field, different area, not as bad as the first, but not as good as the second. And we had about a 50 bushel difference there too because it was stressed. So talking to Bill Haddad, Mr. No-Till Bill, he told me that is very, very, very similar to all of the other yield checks that he has done this year and last year. This is what he is hearing over and over and over. His people from Valent are very excited about this product. They have been in the growth stimulant business for around 50 years. They are the #1 growth stimulant for fruit crops in the world, and they've been doing that for 50 years. And then, but now they're getting into it for corn. RyzUp was originally started as a grass stimulant, but they're getting a corn label for it, or they have a corn label for it now. So I will again try it next year. I'll have more trial pieces, and I'll have some of my area friends using it also, because I've told a number of people about it, and a number of my neighbors have seen my comparisons, and they're quite excited about it too. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted.